Well, kia ora koutou. Welcome to all of you who are watching this next diocesan discussion. And this time I have got Liz joining us from Wānaka. Uh, I had a discussion with Liz a couple of months ago, and the sorts of things that she is initiating in that parish really intrigued me. And particularly the thing about Matariki sounded like something that many other people could perhaps take up. So anyway, Liz, would you like to introduce yourself? Because not everyone in the diocese will know you at this point.
Oh, well, kia ora, I'm Liz, and I'm a licensed lay minister at St. Columba's in Wānaka, and I'm also the pastoral assistant. At the moment, we don't have a minister, so I share the role with another person. Yeah, I also work as a counsellor, as a celebrant, as a spiritual director.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so one of the things that you've been doing for a while, which is just fascinating, is the Death Café. So I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about what that is and if it's made any difference to be kind of now connected directly with the church while you're doing that.
Yes, it's a very jarring word, death and cafe, and so it piques people's interest, and so we do have quite a few people coming along. So it's an international organisation. It was started in 2011 by an Englishman called John Underwood, and he wanted to explore ideas around death and dying, and his mother was a psychotherapist, so she said, why don't you invite some people together? I'll facilitate the group, and it worked so well, they made it an international organisation, and it's actually in over 12,000 countries now. Like, it's amazing. I mean, there's 12,000 death cafes in about 75 countries. So it's pretty interesting. And the idea is to gather together. It's not a bereavement group or a grief support group. The idea is to drink, it's very English, drink tea and eat cake to sort of soften the
Excellent.
topic of
I like
death,
that.
coffee and cheese scones, and just to increase awareness of death with the view to helping people make the most of their lives. And we have the most intriguing discussions. My friend, co-facilitator, and I, Sue, we have quite a strong bent towards more ecological ways of dying, like actual dying. And we've started a service to the community called Final Acts of Kindness. And in that, we kind of offer people guidance and support if their loved one is dying on how they can do it in ways that it used to be done. Our ancestors did it, Māori did it, the Irish wake, how it used to happen before the professionals kind of took over this role from women and from the community. So we have a lot of discussions around that as well.
Sounds amazing. Amazing thing to be offering people, an amazing community. Uh, Mind boggles of the depth to which these conversations might go.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we journey with people. We'll have many people who might come before, like I'm thinking of one lady before her husband dies now, and so we give her all the support, and people share stories of their experiences of husbands dying or parents dying, and then she's coming post the death and how she's doing now, and it's quite lovely. And one lady came last month, and she had really taken on board all our sort of guidance around natural home death care. And we also supported her as her husband died. And she just is so proud of herself because she did exactly what her husband wanted, what she wanted, what her adult children wanted. They did it themselves, and there's an enormous sense of pride in that. And just knowing that you've really honoured your loved one, you've stayed with them, you've never been separated from them, until they go to be cremated. So it's quite lovely seeing, because we've been going for about 5 or 6 years now. So seeing that progression and just the mutual support. The idea of the group is to have no agenda. So I literally go around each person and I do Wallace Chapman's thing, I've been thinking. So whatever they've been thinking, I write it down, write their name, and then facilitate everyone to share that particular thing, and everyone adds into that discussion. So everyone is talking and sharing their experiences and new learnings and things an article they might have read that week or movie they might have seen or their own experience. And they support each other. It's really wonderful. It feels like church. It's so
Well,
real.
yes. So, I mean, it was started by a psychotherapist. It's not a specifically Christian thing at all. How has it changed at all for you now that you are also so closely connected to the church?
Well, I think the church, I was talking to a person who comes just for a few services like Taizé and our meditation at church, and she comes to Death Cafe, and she says, I don't like the term spirituality, I like matters of the heart. And I thought, this is what Death Cafe is. We all drop to this level We share from our hearts, our own
Mm.
experiences. We offer that kind of afi, that support to others. And to me, that's church, isn't it? Being vulnerable and open, tears are shed. We have all age groups. We have breastfeeding mothers coming along right through to 90-year-olds. And so I think it is church, and I think it's so important that as Christians, we are the light to our community. And if there's a need, that we shine some light into that space. And, the D word, it's a word we push away from. But if
Mm.
you bring close the thing that you fear, you realize it's okay. It's okay. It's not as scary as it might look.
I feel as if we should be talking about this. We should be having in-church death cafes as well, for our own congregations to be able to
Yes,
do this sort of thing, where
yes,
we
that's
could talk
right.
more openly about life beyond death as well as death.
That's
So,
right.
I mean, just when you're talking about being a light, that kind of segues nicely into your Matariki tent. Can you tell
Oh,
us
yeah.
about that?
Yes, so that's lovely. So we have a youth group called Kahu Youth Group, and for many years, maybe 10 years, they've offered a community space to celebrate Matariki. And I kind of, when I was doing some studies on it, I realized it was all about the stars, and I talked to the organizers. And so what they did for a few years is have a gazebo for each star. So whatever the star was, they would represent that part of the community. And we were Putakawa, because that's the star of death. And now they're not having any of the other stars, but because our tent has become the most popular tent,
Well,
they just have our star. And just briefly, I don't know if people know the legend of Matariki. So what it
tell us
is
again.
Putakawa is the star that guides the waka across the skies at night.
Mm.
And the captain of the ship is Taramainuku. And every night, in his net, he gathers up all the souls who have died that day and he stores them in the tail feathers of the waka. And then every night he goes and gathers them. And then after a year, on the month before Matariki rises, it's called the Tangaroa night, the waka plunges into the sea. And then just as Matariki rises, he takes all those souls and he flings them into the sky and they become stars. And so when Māori gather, they gather before Matariki rises, in the early hours of the morning, and they speak the names of the dead. So the space we offer is that people come to us, again, families who maybe their mothers died, their little children come to light a candle for their mother. Travelers come from overseas to light a candle for, the grandmother or someone they love. And in that moment, again, we are the light. We drop deep, we say a little karakia, kind of a chant, which kind of sends them to become a star in Te Reo Māori. And then we say a beautiful blessing for them. And it feels like entering into sacred space for the tiniest moment, just a minute or so, saying the name of their loved one, getting the lighting, they light their candle, and then we just hold some beautiful space. And it's a real treasure. It feels very lovely. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Liz. So, I mean, you've been dealing with a lot of people kind of on the edge of the church. I know this is a very difficult question, but what do you think there is in the gospel that is still good news for them?
I think people need to know that we are all one, like we do all belong. We are all held in the great ocean of the being of God, whatever we want to name that ocean. And to me, it actually doesn't matter so much, but to know that we are all connected, we are all one, and we're never alone. Like this loving presence is within our DNA, it's in our bodies, it's in the people around us, it comes to us through the awe of nature, and that we're not alone, actually. That's
Not alone.
mm,
Nothing.
mm.
Of course, the last thing that Jesus says to his disciples in the Gospel of Matthew, I think I've got this right, is, I'm with you always to the end of
Yes,
the age.
yes,
Mm.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's finding that connection, isn't it? How do I be God, or use the language
Mm.
to the person in front of me for them to
Mm.
really resonate with that? And might simply just being ourselves through listening, through encouragement, through laughter, whatever, being the presence of God, I think is important. Yeah.
Beautiful, Liz. Many thanks. That was fascinating.
Thank you so much.